Okay, everybody, I'm back with the example direct strategy letter, and I wanted to show you the formatting of this letter. This is the letter perfectly formatted using block format, and I'll make it small so you can kind of see. You've got this 1-inch margin. You've got double and quad spacing where necessary. I'm going to show you how to make sure that you do this correctly. I do have an instructional or explanational one set up for you as well. But I wanted to show you how to make it look like this so you will know when you're using your Microsoft Word how to do this. So I'm going to open a new document right quick. Blank document, and I'm going to go into my sample letter here. I'm going to press Control A to select the entire letter. I'm going to press Control C to copy it, and then I'm going to go into my blank document and press Control V. And you can see, of course, this is not correct. I want to take away all the formatting though, because this is where you go to clear all formatting. So here we go. So this, of course, is not correct, even though we are set for single spacing right here. Every time I press the, you press the Enter key in Microsoft Word, it has a default additional spacing. So even though you press Control A and you go right here and choose single space, you still don't have the correct spacing. And I want to show you why. So again, on the Home tab still, in the paragraph section, on this little small arrow, click on that small arrow. And this is what Microsoft Word does. In the spacing section, it's got 0 before, it's got 8 point, and sometimes it has 6 point. It depends on your computer. But in the line spacing, most of the time, the default is multiple. But we want to make this 0 before, 0 after, single space. So every time I press the Enter key, I have a correct spacing between. So this is single spacing. This is single spacing. This is single spacing. You see? But between each section, so between my return address and my date, I've got one blank space, and that's called double spacing. It's called double spacing because every time you press the Enter key, that counts as like a space, a blank space. So you start typing on the second or the double line down from the previous one. So I'm going to take this away for a second and show you what I mean. Let's get rid of all this for a moment. So I'm going to press the Enter space 2 times and start typing my date. I think that was 17. Okay, and then for quad spacing, which is what you need to have between the date and the inside address, you press the Enter key 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you start typing on the 4th line down. Now I'm just going to pull that up in the right spot. Okay, and you see I've got one space. This is double space because I pressed the Enter key twice and started typing on the second row down, or the second line down. Double space here, double here, double here, double here. Now, if you are working for somebody or if you're working for yourself and you're going to type a letter and you're going to print that letter and you're going to sign your name, so you're going to have your complimentary close, sincerely, and you're going to press the Enter key 4 times and start typing on the 4th row down or 4th line down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You have the same spacing here as you have between the date and the inside address. And this extra spacing is meant to give you room to sign your name. So since you guys are not going to be actually printing out your letter, but submitting it to me, as a Word document, I need you to write your name 2 times, just like this. And I want you to select the top name. And I want you to go over here in the font section. I'm on the Home tab still, see? So the font section. And we're going to choose a signature font. Now, notice nobody writes 11-point font. That's not a legitimate look. Plus, you don't have that quad spacing that you need. You need to have the appearance of quad spacing for this letter. So we're going to make it, let's see. Yeah, I think a 36 is very nice. It gives you the appearance of quad spacing. And then we want to change the font color to dark blue. There is no other option. You can't use this color blue because you think it's pretty or this shade of green. You have to use dark blue. The reason that you need to use dark blue, I'm going to use a bold also. The reason we use dark blue is to replicate an ink pen. So if you were going to print this letter and sign it, you should, professionally speaking, sign all original documents in navy or dark blue ink, so that your recipient knows this is an original letter. It's not a copy of a letter. If you copied the letter from a copier, it would be black. So you want your reader to know that this is an original. So I've put it in a dark blue. So this is the shade of blue in the font section. Click the little chevron beside the letter A, and then it's right over here in standard colors. You see it's right before the purple. So make sure you choose that one. So to make any changes to any font, you always have to select the font. So we're going to select by simply left clicking to the left. Left click to the left of your word, your first word that you want to select, and we're going to maintain that pressure on the left button, and we're going to go all the way to the end and release that pressure, and then you've got that selected area, and that allows you. You can see we can use different fonts. The different fonts can sometimes require you to change the size of your signature. So this one right here is very nice looking, and I don't think we need to make a change to the spacing or the size of the font to replicate that quad spacing. But you can go throughout and find different signature fonts that you might like to use. So for right now, I'm using a 36-point font. I think it looks pretty good. It's giving me the appearance of a quad spacing. So you can play with that and decide whatever you would like to use. It's fine with me. Okay. I'm going to shrink this, and I want to pull up the explanation file. Let's see here. Okay. So this is the explanation where I'm telling you basically in writing what I told you a few seconds ago in the video. So you want to have a 1-inch margin all the way around. And we check 1-inch margins, or our margins in general, by clicking on the Layout tab at the top of your ribbon and clicking on Margins. And then you can see Normal. This is what you want to use. Now, if we were writing as a business and not as a personal, just an individual like you're writing, for your next letter, for example, when you do have to write as a business, you have to provide a letterhead. And that will require you to double click in this area so that you open the header, and you would put your letterhead here, because letterheads should begin at the top 1/2-inch margin. And they shouldn't go down the page any more than, say, 1 inch or 1.5 inches at the very max. But we'll talk more about that. I'll do the video for you when we get to that section. Okay, close that out. All right. So again, that's how you check the margins. And then one more time, to make sure you set your paper up so that you've got no additional spacing whenever you press the Enter key. You want to press Control A, and on the Home tab in the Paragraph section, you want to click the little arrow here and make sure you've got 0 before, 0 after, single space. Now, while I've got this section up, I wanted to show you something. If you're asking for a refund, or if you are asking for a replacement, you need to show proof of purchase. You may need to show a copy of your the warranty. And so if that's the case, you're going to write in this second paragraph that you've included a copy of the warranty or a copy of the receipt. So whenever you do that, you want to, after your type name, press the Enter key 2 times and write the word in capital, enclosure. You're not going to put a colon and tell what it is that you have enclosed. That does not matter. Your recipient will know what you have enclosed because you've written right here what you've got enclosed. The purpose of this little note, this is like a little note to your recipient, is if he or she opens a letter, maybe the letter's already been opened, and he or she opens that letter, and the first thing he sees or she sees is just the letter, nothing else, but your note says enclosure. So that means that the recipient will know that either somebody took out the enclosure or you forgot to include the enclosure. So it's very important that you write enclosure. And we will talk more about this section down here in our next letter. But I think this is all for now that I wanted to talk about. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know. I think it's pretty straightforward between the sample letter and the explanation letter. It shows you. So read all of my comments, watch the video, and if you have any questions, you know how to contact me. Have a wonderful Saturday. Bye-bye.